Hey, how are you? Matt Heisler here from Vanderbilt Properties. And I'm just going to take a quick look at some of the news that the president's been making about lowering interest rates. And so the short version is that he said he was going to direct his representatives to buy $200 billion of mortgage-backed securities in effect to lower rates. So in this video, we're going to talk about, can he do this? And the second thing we're going to talk about is, will it really make a difference? And so we're going to jump right in and we're going to talk about the fact that even though the president has a lot of powers, one of the things where his power is very, very limited is in his ability to control interest rates. Interest rates are largely controlled by the Fed, uh, and the Fed is independent from the executive branch, and they work really hard to remain so. And the reason is very simple. Presidents always want the economy to be growing as quickly as it can. But when economies grow very, very quickly, that tends to create a lot of overstimulation, and that will lead us right into damaging recessions and depressions. And because of those reasons, the Federal Reserve is independent so that they can make a decision when the economy is getting too hot. So it's not really just as simple as lower interest rates are better. He can't control interest rates through the Fed, but can he buy these $200 billion of mortgage-backed securities through Fannie and Freddie Mac? Well, they're also supposed to be quasi-independent organizations. And the answer there is probably no. So it's very unclear as to whether or not any of this is going to happen at all. It's not uncommon for Trump to make these headlines that sound very, very good, and then really not let them do. They just don't go anywhere, maybe ever. So, but even if he can do it, maybe if he can get Fannie and Freddie Mac to buy this 200 billion, will it really make a difference? Well, the answer there is probably not. So the mortgage-backed security market is trillions and trillions of dollars, and if he bought 200 billion fast enough, it would probably lower rates for a little bit. You might not even notice that it was happening. Mortgage rates move around all the time. This would probably be a little bit more than noise. I mean, it's the kind of thing that might make an eighth of a point difference. Maybe if the wind was at his back, he could make an entire quarter point. Is it going to lower interest rates by an entire percent? No. No, it's not going to do that. And then when the 200 billion is spent, they're going to go right back to where they were. And you might say, well, it might take a while to spend 200 billion. In the MBS market, it turns out that is not very much at all. So he probably can't do this. And if he does do it, it's going to have a very short, very limited effect. But most importantly, even if he was able to do any of this, the market would probably respond with buyers bidding up prices a little bit. So I know that this is not usually how people think of it. They usually say, well, if interest rates are lower, then housing gets cheaper, but it doesn't get cheaper because people pay more for it. And if you want proof of that, all you have to do is go back and look and see what happened during the pandemic when the Fed lowered rates all the way down to 3%. What happened was is housing shot through the roof. So lowering rates isn't really going to solve any of the house pricing problems that we have out there today. Higher rates, which is what we have now, has done a pretty good job of both slowing down the market in a lot of places in the country, maybe not where I am, but it's definitely slower all across the country. And in a lot of places where there was hyper growth, prices have started to come in. And in spots, even where I am, we're starting to see prices come in a little bit. Why? Because interest rates are higher and it makes it harder to buy housing, which slows everything down, which decreases the speed at which prices go up and sometimes makes them go down. So that is really the way to do it. So with that in mind, hopefully you'll have a better understanding about sort of what is going on. It sounds good on paper, but at the end of the day, it's not really going to change what you're seeing out there. And it's probably not something you should wait for if you're thinking about buying a house. It's just not going to make enough of a difference for you. All right, we'll see you next time.